Just how do you choose between the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro? Because the device duo offer one of the biggest leaps in the Made by Google series to date, but we are here to help you decide which is the right model for you. Our in-depth Pixel 6 and 6 Pro comparison is brought to you by Phoenix, the lightweight razor-thin case designed to enhance the look and feel of your phone without adding any bulk. At just 0.35mm thin, each case is designed for people that want protection but still want to admire the contours of their brand new Pixel 6 or 6 Pro. Ultra-precise cutouts ensure that you don't lose access to all of the important ports, while the raised lip around the camera also means protection when placed face up. Each Phoenix case comes in a number of colours including frosted white, frosted black and matte black for a stealthy look and feel to your smartphone. Stick around to the end of the video to learn more. Quickly before we get into the nitty gritty and intense details here, no matter which Pixel 6 device you actually do end up choosing, we do think that you should or at least will be happy. While there are question marks over the capability of that internally developed Tensor chip ahead of time, any fears have been unfounded. If you're coming from an older Pixel, or any older device for that matter, we're sure that you will be happy on a day-to-day basis, and you'll not see a major difference from any other Android flagship out there. Even though some of you out there might be on the fence as to which model to choose and wondering if that extra $200 or £200 or €200, whatever it happens to be, is worth it between the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro, we're going to lay out all of the information so that you can determine which is the better buy for yourself. As you sort of expect though, it's a case of omissions and mainly size, where the bulk of differences are found between the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 6 Pro. You'll need to work out just what you want and need in a smartphone to really decide between these two very solid options. The most notable new addition is that of the Tensor chip, and while it doesn't hit the heights of the very best Android smartphone chipsets, it does provide the benefits in other areas and is still a very high performer. Unlike last year, you don't actually miss out on performance in favour of 5G connectivity here either, as the Tensor chip compares to the best of the business, albeit without usurping Qualcomm and Samsung. Even with the same processor, there are some notable and important differences between the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro. Google has gone all in on the two very large slabs of tech this time around. While the Pixel 6 is smaller, it still includes a 6.4-inch display, and the Pixel 6 Pro is frankly massive at 6.67 inches. Size though is not the only difference here, as the Pixel 6 also includes a Full HD Plus flat 90Hz AMOLED panel, while the Pixel 6 Pro is QHD Plus curved and 120Hz. It's also AMOLED. If you simply hate curved displays, then at least this year you do have an option to choose. However, the Pixel 6 Pro display is substantially better than that of its smaller sibling. Unlike last year's Pixel 5, we're actually saying goodbye to uniform screen bezels on the Pixel 6 series, but the less than average under-display earpiece is gone in favour of a return to a standard earpiece speaker. In conjunction with that bottom firing speaker, the audio experience is a major step up over 2020's flagship Pixel though. Some of you out there might point to a in-display fingerprint scanner as a substantial step back, and it's hard to really argue that the capacitive scanner found on previous Pixels is far more reliable. The in-display scanner here is a lot slower than some other optical readers on the market, and that might be a bone of contention for many of you out there, so it's worth working out if that is going to be a big problem for yourself. Because the main internals are exactly the same, the Pixel 6 Pro is actually only a very minor upgrade thanks to that increased RAM, at least in terms of internals. While the chipset is a major step up, RAM is faster, it's in the DDR5 variant here too, but the Pixel 6 is capped at 8GB, whereas the 6 Pro includes 12GB of RAM, which might be slightly better for longevity. Google has also improved the storage speeds by adopting UFS 3.1 on the entire Pixel 6 series. This means things like app loading times and on-device transfer rates are substantially better than on previous models here too, which should make this phone feel a lot faster as a result. All of the base models though include 128GB of storage, but the Pixel 6 is available with a 256GB storage configuration only in the Stormy Black and Sauter Seafoam models in selected regions. The Pixel 6 Pro includes 256GB of storage in a Stormy Black and Cloudy White option. 512GB of storage is only available when choosing that Stormy Black colorway. We think colours are an area that you might somewhat be left wanting with the entire late 2020 Pixel 6 lineup, and the Pixel 6, the standard model, comes in the more recent sort of googly colour lineup that includes Sauter Seafoam, Kinda Coral and Stormy Black. Conversely, the Pixel 6 Pro sticks to more muted colours that include Cloudy White, stormy black and sort of sunny, which offers a slight divergence from this, but is more closely resembling champagne or light gold. Those hardware differences aside, the software on the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro, like most made by Google devices, is practically identical. However, there are a few little things that are different by virtue of those minor hardware differences that we've just mentioned. Obviously, the screen refresh rate limits affect how Android 12 and future builds will kind of feel, plus the telephoto zoom lens means some camera features are not included on the standard Pixel 6. Save those differences though, it is the same across the board, with all tensor related options included such as live translation, motion modes, face unblur, magic eraser and just a few more on top. Material U and dynamic colour play a pivotal role in Android 12, which is pre-installed out of the box on both of these devices. Almost every UI portion and all default apps adhere to the core colour tones and schemes and hues extracted from your wallpaper choice. This even includes Google's app widgets and results in a truly unique experience no matter which option you do end up choosing here. While we can't say for certain what we will see in future, save Android 12 which is set to arrive soon, Google has committed to the longest support phase for any Android phone to date with the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro. You'll still only get 3 full OS upgrades, but there will be a further 2 years of regular monthly security patches. So that means yes, Google is committing to 5 full years of support for the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro. By that time, both handsets should be running Android 15 and will cease to be supported by official means as of October 2026, which is longer than any Android phone to date, as we've mentioned, save the Fairphone series, would you believe. It appears that Google though has learned some harsh lessons in device longevity in recent years and decided that large internal cells are necessary on this duo. This means that the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro include the 2 biggest batteries of any made by Google smartphone to date. The smaller Pixel 6 includes a sizable 4614 mAh battery, but the larger Pro comes with a 5003 mAh internal cell. And this is an important bump over the previous models, as the Pixel 6 Pro has a far more power-hungry 120Hz display to grapple with on a daily basis. In our own testing, both phones garner an all-day seal of approval. Reports online though suggest that some people have seen mixed lifespans from both models. It's still important to note that battery life can be very subjective, and it's a very subjective area of a smartphone, as various usage patterns can result in poor lifespan, or various usage patterns can result in exceptional lifespan. You could even stretch longevity a little further on the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro though by dipping the refresh rate from 90 to 60Hz or 120 to 60Hz respectively, but that's not something you would necessarily want to do with such good displays on offer. Another notable here is that despite claiming 30 watt maximum charge speeds, it also appears that the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro's real wired charging speeds are actually much lower. Disappointingly, even with that new charge brick, which you have to buy separately, you can only achieve 21 watt and 23 watt peak charging speeds with the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro respectively. That is still only marginally faster than the 18 watt wired charge speeds used on all previous Google Pixel smartphones, but with higher or larger internal cells, this means that top-up times are going to be extended, and because the 21 watt rated second generation Pixel stand is still on pre-order, we'll have to wait until that starts shipping before assessing the legitimacy of the wireless charge speed claims here. In terms of the camera setups, at the very heart of the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro, Samsung's 50 megapixel GN1 sensor is being used. This is a huge step over the slightly tired IMX363 sensor used in all Pixel hardware since late 2018 though. There are a few notable changes between the duo here, with the larger Pro series device being the very first made by Google device to include all 3 main focal lenses in one handset, so that's main wide, ultra wide and telephoto. If you value the ability to punch in with images with enhanced zoom capabilities, then you will undoubtedly look towards the Pixel 6 Pro. The inclusion of a 4x periscope zoom lens means that you can crop in up to 20x, and this will change the way that you take photos on your Google Pixel phone. The Pixel 6 though is limited to 7x with a digital zoom that is backed by super res zoom as a result of cropping in using that larger 50 megapixel sensor. While the results are still impressive, thanks to that large sensor as we just mentioned, it is a no contest here, and the Pixel 6 Pro is the better zoom competitor. Elsewhere, that rear camera bar provides the same experience with a 12 megapixel ultra wide angle lens that is actually a step down over last year's Pixel 4a 5G, Pixel 5 and the recently released Pixel 5a with 5G. And it's not just the rear camera setup where things do diverge a little for the Pixel 6 series. the centrally placed punch-hole notch is slightly different depending on which hardware you pick. If you're an ardent selfie taker, then the Pixel 6 Pro has a very slight edge with a 12 megapixel sensor compared to the 8 megapixel sensor found on the Pixel 6. The difference is almost negligible, as the Pixel 6 Pro though will crop down to 11.1 megapixels as a result of that sensor being used. Neither device though comes with AR Playground camera features, so if you like adding 3D characters and objects to your photos in real time, then you might want to look elsewhere. The Pixel Neural Core though has returned, which means faster image processing on device, and the Tensor chip allows for some other neat camera tricks. These include enhanced live HDR plus video when recording at 4K UHD resolution. Other video features return, including cinematic pan, locked focus, and active mode 2. On top of that, you have face and blur motion mode and a whole host of other Pixel 6 Pro exclusive camera features, which will make this one of the best Pixel camera setups to date. So now we have all of that information out there, ultimately it's hard to really argue that the standard Pixel 6 will likely be the better option for most people looking to grab a late 2021 made by Google flagship. While the Pixel 6 Pro does offer some notable upgrades, a few tweaks and some changes, may be considered downgrades of sorts, at least to some people out there. A curved display is one such divisive addition, and while the size is yet another reason that most people will be looking to that slightly smaller Pixel 6. On top of that, despite what is a very minor internal RAM bump, it is hard to distinguish between the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro in terms of overall daily performance. You'll need to ask yourself if you desperately require a 4x telephoto zoom lens if you're intent on getting what is objectively the best Pixel camera out there to date. For those with older Pixel hardware, specifically the Pixel 4 and 4 XL to be precise, we'd actually wager that you'll see some major boosts with the second generation Tensor chipset and would recommend holding out for the Pixel 7 series. For those with the Pixel 4a 5G and the Pixel 5, although almost 12 months newer than the Pixel 4 series, you'll actually see bigger performance boosts by switching to the newer hardware in what is a confusing system from Google's upgrade paths over the past few years. No matter which option you do happen to choose, the Pixel 6 series offers the biggest leap in the made by Google smartphone lineup for years. The new Tensor chip and that new main camera sensor are at the very heart of that, and with Android 12 also helping proceedings, it's a good time to pick up a Pixel, which hasn't always been the case. We want to know though, what option would you choose, or what have you chosen? Or would you pick something else up entirely? There are some incredible options out there across the entire spectrum of Android, and it's hard to pick up a bad smartphone these days. Until next time though, this is Damien with 95 Google saying thanks for watching. I hope this helped you out, and I will speak to you later. This Pixel 6 and 6 Pro comparison has been brought to you by Phoenix, the ultra lightweight case maker. Each case is completely branding free for a sleek look that doesn't detract or distract from the main event, your brand new Pixel 6. On top of that, all cases ship in just one business day and are even backed by a 100% money back guarantee if you are not completely satisfied, which we assure that you will be. Head to the link in the description to learn more and get your own Phoenix case for yourself.